in New York, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, with limitations, of course. The podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail.
Bar reviews, scooter talk, ghost stories. We are an independent podcast that follows a group of modern and vintage Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. This is not smart or safe, but it's really, really fun. As a disclaimer, we never encourage drinking and scooting and keep our intake to a drink an hour.
Is there anybody out there at all that has a reaction to that disclaimer?
Please disregard that fucking disclaimer. Big fan of the lizard.
Holy Toledo, lizard.
Big fan of you too, Gilbert.
Gilbert loves a lizard. Who would have thought that he was a listener? Love that, Lizard King. So you've got the Home Wrecker podcast calls you the Lizard King. Gilbert Godfrey's a huge fan.
Is that?
I do all the work and you get all the attention.
I got my own miniseries coming out on Netflix next month.
Mini. The title's Mini.
Yeah.
Is that really Gilbert Godfrey?
That really is.
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah, though, there you go. So welcome to episode 41, guys. We're on our way to 50, and this one's called Back to the Bars.
Well,
yeah.
If this keeps up, we're going to catch your age.
And back to catching up with Miranda Young, the little ghost girl from Tennessee and host of Ghost Biker Explorations. She's been busy with different events, and maybe she'll even share one of her recent spooky experiences. Kind of looking forward to that.
Let's hope so.
You say little. I think she might be taller than any one of us here.
She's she's a volleyball player, so some sort of she's
somebody to look
she
up
is a
to.
tall girl,
Yes,
beautiful
absolutely.
tall girl. We'll also have scooter news and more about our upcoming pub scoot into COVID country.
Oh, nice touch.
This is going to be a mess, but it'll
Looking
be
for
fun.
cougars, I'm sure.
It'll be fun.
That's where we're in our best, when it's a mess.
So stay with us. Hey, happy solstice.
Yes,
Hey, thank you.
absolutely.
This is exciting. We're actually
It's been a while.
moving into summer after this terrifying springtime. I mean, oh my God.
I know the bitch is at our age, it's still daylight when we want to go to bed.
I've peed 4 times by the time the sun goes down in bed.
You fall asleep and you think it's morning. So, hey, you know what's funny about this today, or maybe it's tomorrow, are the longest days of the year north of the equator and the shortest days south of the equator.
And the water goes the other way.
And when you flush the toilet.
Right, exactly.
It twists around. So anyway, happy solstice.
Can I make a shout out real quick?
You always have something in your hip pocket.
Well, I just
Is it
wanna
your
say-
friends from the
I wanna
East
say
Coast?
Is it
it'll
on
be-
the script?
Unfortunately, this isn't live, but today is my wife's birthday. So come on by for a Wixie later.
Happy
my
birthday,
goodness.
Mary.
I love your wife.
Hello, Mary,
Happy
and
birthday,
happy
Mary.
birthday
She's a good
to
girl.
you. That's wonderful. So what's been going on? Hey, Mark, how about you? Coach, what's happening?
Well, last day of school was yesterday.
Oh, so what's that mean about today?
That means my day is like every other day it's been for the last 2.5 months.
This is the longest
It's
summer
a 6-month
vacation you've
vacation,
ever had.
yes. Wonderful, wonderful.
How
But
many,
I'm picking up on walks.
All right, you're a walker, and you've been going to hot yoga.
That's starting up again, yeah. But I have to get away from the food snacks. It's just the chips, the brownies, whatever it is. It's too tempting. I just keep eating.
Well, you eat the brownies and it makes you hungrier.
But everything's funnier.
Yeah, that's right. There's a brownie with some guacamole dip. Something pretty good.
But I have to get out of the house. But other than that, same old, same old.
how many kids and what am I trying to say? Improve their grade.
Oh, shit. Everybody waved. Everybody passed. It was wonderful. Oh,
Everybody gets a trophy.
Kumbaya.
this is finally,
Kumbaya.
finally the nation can say no child left behind.
Right. So Cooper, our youngest, he just finished his junior year at Western, and he got straight A's.
And Cooper, my youngest son, finished his sophomore year at Western.
And did he get straight A's?
Well, he got passes or he passed.
Well,
everything.
I don't
that.
know why. I thought it was a pass-fail thing with this COVID deal.
I think you opt to grade or get the pass fail.
Oh, well,
Right.
Cooper went for the grade because he knew something.
Nice.
The fact that he finished it.
Here's an A. There's an A. Everybody gets an A.
Okay.
I opted for pass at work. They didn't buy it.
Pendominono, what's been going on with you?
Gosh. Garage work, waiting to ride,
What are you doing in your garage?
drywall, paint, shelving, that kind of thing.
Is this where my old scooter's stored?
That is correct.
Two of them.
And two of them.
My
actually.
mobilette. You don't need to, the mobilette. 1957.
Is it 57?
It is.
When were you born?
1957.
Okay.
He's trimming that garage out.
Hey, we'll be talking about edgers later.
No kidding.
Okay, Lizard King. Lizard King.
Now, you know what? I
The evolution.
I didn't really earn that Lizard King,
But you got
but
it.
I kind of like it.
Monique says she's got her own ideas about the Lizard King.
Oh, most of the girls do.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. In
Wait
New
till they see
Hampshire,
that
you're very
tattoo on your
popular in
stomach.
New Hampshire and the Home Wrecker podcast.
Oh, it's a tattoo?
So what have you been doing?
You know, when we talk about getting back to bars, when we went to that bar in Roslyn, what was the name of it?
The Brick.
The Brick. I swear I wanted to lay on the ground and cry. I was so happy to be back in the bar. And it's the same way I felt I went to my gym this morning for the first time since March the 10th. And I felt the same way.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the bar more than the gym. Don't get me wrong.
We all do.
Is that
But-
GYM or JIM?
What's the old saying from the Brokeback Mountain movie?
I wish I could quit you.
So
Quit stemming the road.
You
the
guys
thing
knew that
is,
way too quick.
when we went to the Brick,
Yeah.
that bar is a classic pub.
Check.
It is haunted.
Check.
Yeah.
And it's well run. It's a good place. So it
You know,
really.
I really think that we can make a day ride and just put our butts on our scooters, get on I-90, put our heads down, and we can go over there and get down in the basement, right, and see
they
all
have
that stuff.
They have a jail cell in the basement.
Yeah.
The whole place is haunted. They'll take you down there if they're not busy. You have to have kind of a private invitation. But yeah,
Private moment.
I think we just just do that. Just
maybe that's
bust
what we
it out.
do before we leave on the pub scoot.
It'd be like a training ride
Nice.
I like that.
because we're out of shape.
We really are.
And the other great thing about the Brick was the fact that we couldn't sit six to a table, so we had to separate boys and girls.
Oh, I know. It was like we were on our own.
We were by ourselves.
Did you look at the tables of food? On one table, it was fresh veggies, hummus,
The hummus, yes.
and some other things. On ours, it was French fries,
Nachos.
Hamburgers.
Splatter.
I was going to say, what'd the girls eat?
So yeah, that was a
Not hot
fun trip.
dogs.
In
I'll
fact,
tell you that.
that was I've been doing a lot of meditating.
Oh,
I've been
No way.
doing some intuition work as well on my own. I haven't been doing it with groups or anything.
Okay, how many fingers am I holding up right now?
One, and I know which one it is. So
man, he is good.
we were in Leavenworth, Washington, which is this town they turned into a German town, right?
Bavarian town. Yeah.
Bavarian town, and it was still COVID distancing, and the bars weren't
everything was closed,
open.
yeah.
But we bought some drinks, and we sat in the walkway. They had picnic tables out, and we're sitting.
They call it a street.
I picked out the name of the bar owner that we bought the beers from to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you were feeling pretty good.
Feeling pretty good. A guy walks by with a dog, and I looked at him and I said, "Is your dog's named Winnie?"
That's right, you did.
And he gave me
he
this
nailed it.
look.
He
and
looked like
goes-
he just saw a ghost.
He
didn't
was
He did.
confused.
Yeah.
And so I had that moment where my intuition and I could feel it. And then everybody went, "Wow, that was impressive." And then I lost it. I
Well,
couldn't do it anymore.
You got cocky.
I did get a little bit
Then
cocky.
you're naming
Well, let's just keep
everybody.
going.
But to pull Winnie out of your ass was
That was
incredible.
it was amazing, and it there's a different feeling when that happens. So it was pretty cool.
It was like it took you back to your wonder years.
Wonder Bread?
Winnie. She was on Wonder Years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guy in Wonder Years, I think, just got in trouble. Oh, no, that 70s show. I think
Yeah.
that guy just got arrested.
He's a
what?
prevert.
Yeah, not a
Really?
good guy.
He raped 3 women, yeah.
Oh.
Jim wasn't there.
We're sorry about that.
Which guy's that?
The curly-haired guy.
Yeah, we don't.
We can do this off air.
Oh.
We can have this discussion. We are
Our,
not.
our producer's getting angry.
He does not
we are-
ride with us.
He is not aligned. And then I've been the boat business. I'm going to just talk a little bit.
About you?
The
Yeah, well,
world.
let's make this about you. Go
the
ahead.
world's changed, and we're as busy or busier than we've ever been, including before the big recession
And why is that?
of 2008.
Wow.
It's because there's no sports for the kids to play, baseball, basketball, whatever they do in the summer, what kids do. I never let my kids, so it doesn't. Karate, right? They're not doing that.
Right.
They can't travel. They can't go places. So they're buying RVs, they're buying boats, and we're running out of. We usually carry 300, 350 boats in stock. We're down to less than 100 boats now.
Whoa.
Wow.
And we just can't seem to keep up. It's just wild.
Are you going to get Employee of the Month?
No. I'm typically in trouble.
No, typically, no, you're always in trouble.
I'm in trouble for something. Everything goes right except what about this?
Except for you guessed that dog's name right. That was it.
Right. Winnie. I should have named the podcast Winnie. It has been a while since our last one. It's been how long? Well, Lonnie would say it's been 2 months.
It's been 43 days.
No, it's been 26 days since our last podcast.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be longer by the time you get this out.
Yeah.
I have to. That's like me going upstairs in the morning. What are you doing?
Mark's starting to retain water. He knows.
His
All
ankles
right.
are swelling.
Enough of the intros. Let's move through this. So, we've been starting to do fun facts.
Yeah, one of my favorite
Episodes,
portions of the show.
segments. And I thought we'd all just do one of these. So you're going to have to be able to read. I gave you some notes. But I'm going to start with the first one. Did you know that my I was going to say my current wife, Beth, she's my only wife.
I do know her.
So far. So that she worked at UPS for a while before Cooper was born?
I did not know that.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And did you
Was she
know?
a driver?
No, she handled specialty packages that broke apart and found that didn't have addresses. She could do detective work, which terrifies me.
How does she look in brown?
She looks good in any
She
color.
looks great. Yeah. So she has to shower afterwards.
That's your problem.
All right.
Do you have a story there?
Did you know that UPS saves
That's a different show?
saves approximately 10 million gallons of gas every year, their trucks, by avoiding left turns?
That sounds crazy to me.
It is
Explain that
crazy
to me.
Well, because when you make a left turn, you have to wait for oncoming traffic,
Yeah.
or lights, or all that kind of thing, and so they sit and idle. So you think about how many trucks they have and how many hours are on the road. Right turns are always free, and there's no oncoming traffic, so they can just keep their routes with everybody doing right-hand turns, and it saves them, they think, 10 million gallons of fuel. Diesel, probably.
Well,
No, they don't do diesel in those vans.
You're the expert. Have you ever changed your own oil?
I did
When?
back in my youth when I was a youth
When you were a youth?
in the 1900s.
All right. Speaking of Beth, did you know that a 100-pound woman in high heels exerts more pressure on the earth than a 6,000-pound elephant?
Can you say 1,000, not 6,000?
I meant
Wow.
to type 6. It's 6,000. And
Yeah, that's a light elephant.
of course, they have to be standing in those high heels.
Not on their knees.
or on their with the heels pointing to the. Never mind.
that's another podcast.
Lonnie,
too.
can you take this next one?
Well, according to UC Berkeley, taking the underarm sweat from a man and putting it on a woman's lips, can improve her mood and regulate her menstrual cycle. Serious?
Serious.
No, that's true.
Who came up with that data? Was that
It
science
was
and data?
UC Berkeley.
Is that science and data?
It's out of Keys where he lived.
Bob.
UC.
You sure that wasn't our governor that came up with that science and data?
Okay, do what you want with this, but just try it. Take your little underarm sweat, be real romantic. Get your wife a glass of wine, rub it on her lips, and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll tell you what'll happen.
Hey, Mark, can you give us this next one here? This one kind of goes with it.
You mean the word vagina?
Yeah.
But did you know the word vagina comes from a Latin word that meant sheath for sword?
For the sword.
Just trying to report the facts here.
You're just reporting it.
Or in my case, the 3-inch penknife.
I would, nobody wants to laugh because unfortunately we think that might be true.
And unfortunately, it's your wife's birthday.
It is.
That's going to be hard on the hips. That's a lot.
All right, Keith.
Number
grab
5
this-
and trying harder.
All right.
Okay.
Your turn.
I'm next. Okay. It is possible to faint or die from pooping too hard.
What did you say?
It's called defecation syncope.
It is.
Just reporting facts.
The funny part
Has anybody sort of blacked out before? Has that ever happened?
that's not even on our list here. I just came up with it
Where
myself.
did it come from?
I have this other fun fact in the back of my head, and I think it's accurate, that Sigmund Freud said that over your lifetime, you get more pleasure from pooping than from sex.
I believe
Well, it
that.
happens more often.
I absolutely believe that.
That's the 100-pound woman in a heel in the 6,000-pound elephant theory. One just happens more.
All we have are memories.
It's all tied together.
Forget the power of now. It was the power of then.
More brown coming
Sorry.
at you.
Sorry. Elkhart. Totally. So, Mark, you're going to have to say this word.
Verschlimmen Backerung.
I think that's correct.
Well, it is. It's in quotes.
Schlimmen Besserung.
Is a German word for trying to make things better but end up making them worse.
Or podcast.
Sort of like this podcast. That's right. So, yeah, there you go.
Oh, fun facts.
Wow, those are good facts.
Well, everybody had a little sip right there during the transition.
Nice. Good commercial break.
So what happens right after fun facts?
What
It's
time is
time. Whoa! It's time for Scooter News. God, we almost did that right. So here's
it helps to have a script.
yeah, I know. So here's this is kind of cool. This goes along with my boat comments earlier. That
Right.
scooter and moped demand triples as commuters look to shun buses and trains.
Wow. That makes extra sense.
Think
Yeah.
about that. Who wants to ride mass transit these days?
No, nobody
Nobody.
does. Though you will sit around a podcast table.
Yeah, but I know you.
Oh, that makes a difference. I have been in.
This vodka will kill anything.
That's true. So this is actually from the UK, but I believe it's true across the world. Demand
Now,
for
will you do our listeners a favor and paraphrase instead of reading this 3-page pamphlet?
I just did. The demand triples. That's the Scooter News.
Spooky news!
No, so demand for motorbikes, scooters, and mopeds has shot up as commuters look for alternative to public transportation, and inquiries are up. Views on adverts, as they say over on the Big Island over there, for mopeds increased 32% and 48% in June.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Well, that's good news for our buddy Andrew down in Portland. And it looks like he's selling the shit out of everything he gets.
Yeah, he looks like he's busy down there. So 61% of British people, the Brits,
The British.
said they would feel uncomfortable using public transportation even if the lockdown was eased further, according to a poll that was done last month. That would be May that it was done. And they're required. They're pretty strict over there. They say, however, for longer journeys, scooters and lower-powered mopeds can be more attractive, given the lower cost and the limited space for large increase in car traffic in major UK cities. That would be London. What's another one?
Paris.
That's in the UK. Hello,
sorry.
Mr. Geography. This is a microphone. Speak into that.
But you know what? The beauty of that for those people is they can smoke a cigarette and ride their scooter, and you can't smoke on the bus. I'm just saying.
Another
Or they
good
could have
reason.
they could have a pint.
A pint of
A
Guinness?
pint. Yeah, well, they're
No,
pretty,
that's the wrong
they're pretty
country.
careful over there about drinking and driving. They're better than we are. about that.
Well, everybody's better than we are.
I don't mean we, I mean us Americans.
The four of us? Mark, I have a question for you. Do you know, in our demographic, the folks that are listening to us right now, what's the percentage of riders versus non-riders?
I think that we tend to draw more scooter people than we do paranormal people because, as I like to say on our Twitter handle and on every other place, we're very lightly researched and weak with our stuff when it comes to the paranormal.
Standards are low.
We have a very deep interest.
Yeah, but our research and fun facts is very thorough.
Well, thanks to UberFacts for that.
But we'll check with our marketing department and get back to you on that.
For those non-riders out there, and I mean this sincerely, I'm looking at you talking over me. I'd just like to say, if you haven't been on a scooter, it is the best way to travel.
Amen, brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very fun. Low-powered joy is what I like to say.
Yes.
So Vespa and Christian Dior hooked up.
That's an odd combo.
Yeah, two iconic brands have partnered to create the new Christian Dior 946, whatever they call it. That little funny little thing that he has.
Is that that marketing slogan? I always ride a Vespa or I ride nothing at all.
Oh, that was Brooke Shield, isn't it, when she was in her jeans? So,
sorry.
There goes Mark.
Here's the deal. Christian Dior and Vespa were founded on the exact same day and they opened their doors 74 years ago, which is kind of cool. So they hooked up and they did a collaboration where Vespa pays tribute to the incomparable charms of the Italian Riviera, which so fascinated Christian Dior in his time. So the Dolce Vita, or what do they call that, Keith? Lifestyle never ceased to infuse its elegant spirit into these models. Blah, blah, blah. More than ever, it's perpetuated in the collections of Maria Grazia Chiuri.
You know what? I don't know anybody that has a 946. I wonder what they really
They're
sell.
all aluminum engine. They're really pretty cool. Yeah.
But they're $10,000, right?
They're expensive. Michelle Colanino, the CEO of the group, the Piaggio chief product and marketing strategy person, says this new Vespa 946, it's a girl, right?
What does she ride?
A 946, I'm sure.
Whatever she can.
Celebrates that anniversary and honors our heritage. Today, like yesterday, we've gone through a dark period, and now we're joining forces to share some joie de vivre through a combination of craftsmanship, joy of life, right, of the day. And
what does that mean in Latin?
Sword in the sheath. This partnership between Vespa and Dior represents a celebration of beauty. Maybe we need to get Andrew on the horn and find out what the hell's going on here. Does he have one coming?
I think they've got some 946s to sell. Personally.
You should let us demo like 4 of them, Andrew. Just 4 of them.
Well, we need Bobby. Uncle Bobby's a good reviewer.
He would have had something to say about this because he probably buys the Dior hair product.
In my next life, I'm coming back as Uncle Bobby's.
Hey, Bobby, get him
product salesman.
I'm coming back as his hair.
Okay, what happens after Scooter News? It's time for Spooky News. And good news for Spooky News. We're going to get a hold of Miranda Young, our friend down in Tennessee, paranormal investigator that rides her motorcycle to different haunted locations, many times stays there on her own by herself. So I just think it would be kind of cool with me just to shut up and let's catch up with her. If you don't know Miranda, go back and listen to a few podcasts back where we did a 2-part series with her talking about all the scary stuff.
And love her voice.
No, she's the best. So here's Miranda. All right, so we're with Miranda Young of Ghost Biker Explorations and Ghost Girl from Tennessee. Hi, Miranda. We're catching up.
Hey, guys. It's good to catch up. Good to see you all.
What the hell you been up to?
Oh, man. It's actually kind of really taken off and gotten pretty busy since the country's opened back up. We got kind of put on a little bit of hold there for a little while, and some events were put on hold, but we actually just had a really big event 2 weeks ago. I led my first big bike ride It was 124 mile across the Cumberland Plateau here in Tennessee. We hit some of the most beautiful, historic, and haunted areas on the way to a bike event at a little general store in Northeast Tennessee.
Wow.
Very cool.
And you
Yeah,
rode you rode your Black Harley, right?
I did. Yeah. The ride went through some really cool areas. I actually released 2 videos leading up to the ride that talked about the history. I kind of set it up like like those ghost walks and ghost tours through some of the big historic towns, where I told kind of how some of these towns became to be and some really cool stories about some haunted activity. And we actually had over 100 bikes show up and go to the event.
Wow. That sounds like a lot of fun. When we do it, we shun too many bikes because they see how we misbehave.
They don't follow us for very long.
I was expecting about 25 bikes, and had a meeting place over at the Shoney's, and there was not an open spot when I pulled in. So it was a really pleasant surprise. We learned a lot from it, a lot of different things to do for next time, and actually working on getting a couple more planned, and maybe be able to stop at some of those haunted locations along the way. So we've had that going on. That was the first big event since the country opened back up, and I've got a big event coming up here in about 3 weeks at Hell's Bar Dam, which is in Guild, Tennessee, and that's going to be Dam Night, and there's going to be lots of speakers, lots of paranormal investigators there. I'm one of 3 special guests, and I'm going to be speaking that night, and we're going to actually have a VIP ghost hunt from midnight till 3 a.m.
Wow, that sounds like fun. Now, unlike us, you do those sober.
I try to. There is actually going to be alcohol there. So the dam is under new ownership now, and they're actually working on getting a distillery in there so that they can have some dam liquor. And yeah, so it's going to be really cool. So there will be drinking that night. I don't know if I'll be drinking before the investigation or not, though.
Well, you're a leader, right? You're one of 3 special guests.
May I ask a question?
Exactly.
Keith's got a question for you.
So, Miranda, going backwards a little bit to the 100 bike ride, what was the demographic from a bike standpoint? Would you have, a myriad of types or what?
Yeah, that's what was really cool. We opened it up to all bikes. I don't recall very many sport bikes, but there was definitely just a total variety. Everything from some custom bobbers to some Harleys and Hondas. I mean, there was anything you could ask for. I mean, same way with the folks that were riding. There was a lot of women, but there was also a lot of men on the ride too. So
Well, that must have been nice for you.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
But the real question is, were there Vespa riders?
There
Crickets.
may have been a couple actually at the bike event, but there weren't any on my ride. I had a couple people ask, and hey, we welcome all 2 wheels.
So Vespa guys are a bunch of chickens, is what she's saying.
So you did something like a Paracom, or what did you do online where you were a guest speaker not long ago during the COVID lockdown?
Yeah, it was one of the first of its kind. It was actually an online Paracon, and it was really cool. And it actually spanned 3 different countries. We had England and Australia, and then also the U.S. online. And we were able to, they had speakers that ran for, I believe, about 12 hours, where we all got on and talked about different things, had giveaways, gave away different items, and talked about what we did. I think each speaker had about an hour to speak, and so it had a very, very good turnout as well, just from people who were able to stay at home and kind of experience what we do at these different Paracons.
Yeah, and you gave away something, right? What was it? Helmet?
I did. I gave away a hat and T-shirt.
Oh, right, and you put the names in the helmet.
Yeah, I put names in the helmet. Actually, I'm actually going to be having some pretty big giveaways maybe a little bit later on this year, I've got some Harley events planned at several different Harley Davidsons around the country, and I've got several different items, and there may be a leather jacket or two that I'm going to give away at a couple different events.
Very cool. So how do people find out and see what you're doing? Where do they find you?
Well, the best place to find me is on my Facebook page under Ghost Biker Explorations. We've also got YouTube. I'm the most active on Facebook because I do a lot of lives on there, but they can catch up on the past 2 seasons, see what's going on with different videos on YouTube as well under Ghost Biker Explorations. And also got on Instagram under Runaway Vixen, and working on LinkedIn as well.
And if I remember, Runaway Vixen, your handle there is on 2 of your favorite bands.
It is. The Runaways and Vixen.
Here you go. All right. Now, one more thing. Tell us something spooky that's happened recently or happened to you that you've been saving up for our listeners.
Okay. Well, had several things. I've been on 4 different investigations in the last month and a half. And, we've had quite a bit happen. Now, I won't give everything away since some of this is going to be in the new season. But I was
That's
able
okay.
to
There's only 7 listeners.
of us, not you.
Well, hopefully we can bring all 7 of them over to my
We're 4 of them.
Well, I was able to spend the night in an abandoned, well, it's actually not abandoned, but it was closed. They closed for the season, a hotel called the Grand Old Lady in Balsam, North Carolina. And what was really cool about this is, it was almost kind of like The Shining in a way, because they had been closed since the end of, I believe it was November or December when they closed. They get really cold weather up there in the mountains, and they tried to keep the hotel as authentic and, as it was structurally back, years and years ago. So the insulation and stuff is kind of thin. But so they closed, and they ended up having to stay closed a little bit longer just because of COVID. But I was there. It's a 50-room hotel, 3 stories, only person in the building. I have never had such activity as far as, just the disembodied voices that I was getting there. They were audible. A lot of the time, I don't actually hear conversation or responses in the moment. A lot of the time, I hear a lot of it when I go and review my evidence. And I was actually standing there, had my SB7 spirit box asking some questions in this little hallway where there's a lot of different activity. And every time I would step away, there would be sound like something being thrown at the end of the hall or something running toward me. So when I started asking these questions, I actually had a man's voice. And of course, there were no men in the building. Had a man's voice come from behind me and say, "Hey, back here." And that was really creepy to me because, it didn't need the spirit voice or the spirit box to for me to be able to hear what was going on.
Wow,
and,
powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. And so had that happen, and also I was using my SLS cam, which I don't know if I spoke about this on the last show or not, but what this camera does is it allows you, it sends out a field and a laser grid, and you can actually see back on your monitor if it picks up an anomaly, it will show as stick figures.
Right.
And so I was using the SLS camera as well as the EDI box, which love my EDI box because it shows everything from changes in temperature and pressure to different EMF readings. And I was actually able to, it was picking up some readings on my detection on the EDI box. And so when I turned my SLS camera around, I was actually able to pick up some anomalies on the screen, and it was responding to when I asked if it would touch the box and change the temperature. I was actually picking up the spirits on the monitor touching the box. So that was really cool to actually be able to see kind of the changes happening. I've actually never had that happen before. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was kind of creepy too, in and of itself. Just being there, by myself and being able to pick that up.
So you spent the night by yourself in an abandoned hotel that was active with ghosts, and you interacted with them.
I did.
When's that film? When's that coming out? I would be terrified to hang out with you.
Well, between that and this year, normally I had my camera guy traveling with me, but actually this year I filmed everything myself. And so I've slept and stayed in these locations by myself, except for on one other occasion where I did a girls trip, and one of the girls traveled with me and helped me film. But yeah, just before that, I stayed in an abandoned funeral home and an abandoned jail, and it was pretty unnerving.
Yeah, I can imagine.
She doesn't ride a Vespa.
No. Well, Miranda, that's really cool stuff. And I told you I was going to keep this at between 10 and 15, and we're at 12 minutes right now. And we always thoroughly enjoy talking to you. And it looks like you're doing great and excited for your new season. So let's keep in touch.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me on. It's always good to touch base with you guys, and it's good to see you guys doing well as well.
All right. As soon as I'm traveling, we're going to go drinking in Knoxville. Okay.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. See you, Miranda.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Miranda.
So Miranda's pretty impressive, but the fact that she went into the hotel by herself, which normally she has her cameraman, by herself is pretty impressive.
She said she went to several places by herself,
But she actually got some voices unsolicited or without
she was
the meter.
interacting. Yeah. And can you imagine being by yourself in an old hotel? I wouldn't do it. She is a strong.
Well, you would, but when you heard that voice, you'd be running.
I would have. Yeah. I mean, I don't even test my own house for EVPs because I'm such a chicken.
I'm pretty sure I would have experienced some defecation syncope.
I just think that she's so impressive and so fun, and you could tell her whole program is on its way up.
Yeah, she's doing great, and she's a friend, and we're excited to partner with her. Maybe we'll go down to Tennessee and do a live podcast with her in a haunted location. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
Maybe we think it'd be fine if we all just flew down there.
But it would be great, except that would probably be our last conversation with Miranda. She would be done.
We could stay at her mom's house, couldn't we?
Or her grandma.
Or grandma's house.
There's 15 acres for us to camp out, I think is what she mentioned. So anyway, great fun with Miranda there. And I don't know.
What's next? Is there more? Well, we went on a ride, didn't we?
We did. We went some places. And before we get started on that, one more time, let's say thanks to Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you very much.
This is Franny at The Brick in Roslyn, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Now let's talk about our rides.
Okay, the Brick.
Because we're back to the bars. Well, we've already talked about the Brick a little bit.
That's done.
But it's in Roslyn, Washington, which is up in the Cascade Mountains. Correct? It's over the pass.
Barely.
Opposite.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was also the place where they filmed Northern Exposure, or what it was based on. They remember the old TV series.
With the moose down the street in that corner bar.
Yeah. So if you ever watch that show, or you're old enough to watch it, that's the bar we were in that they featured.
And I think it was on while Wonder Years was on also, Winnie.
Winnie.
And the bar's haunted. It's got an old jail cell down below. It was the first bar we'd been into after the bar drought, the COVID bar drought.
Long
and like
overdue.
Lonnie said, everybody was giddy with excitement when we went in
I
there.
do remember the Lizard and I almost stared at each other in the eyeball, go, are you ready for this? Are we actually going in?
You know what? I got a little sweaty on the armpits and put it on Beth's lips. She was in a good mood the rest of the weekend.
And regulated.
Yes. Well, no worries there. So, that was out of bounds.
Thank God. Thank God they don't listen.
Okay, so we took a little ride the other day, and we went to 2 or 3 places that we'd actually never been to.
Yeah.
Let's start with Dusty's Hideaway.
You guys keep saying we.
Oh, you were invited. He chose not to go. He chose to go to
He chose to go to work instead.
Bellingham.
Oh, no, wait, that was on a weekend. He was in Bellingham. That's right.
It's like, hey, you ready to go for a ride? I'm in Bellingham. Oh, okay.
We did have a wonderful guest, though, with us.
I
on
was
that ride.
invited after you knew I was in Bellingham.
Wait, that is not true. So, yes, Lonnie, Maddie came along. She got on her scooter. She fired up Old Red. And
My wife came along, and she's a trooper. She just hangs right in there with the best of us.
Yeah, I mean, I teased her a little bit. I said, "Don't think you're a couple. When we hit a bar, you have to buy a round as well," which she happily did. So, excuse me. We went to Dusty's Hideaway, which none of us had ever been to, in the McKinley district of Tacoma. This is an old bungalow-style home on McKinley Avenue, and you order through like the kitchen window. You walk to the side
couldn't go
yard.
inside. They had the inside shut down yet.
Right. But you go to the kitchen window, they open it up, and the person serving used to work at Top of Tacoma. I recognized her.
She recognized you also.
Yeah, well, I tend to get into the bars here and there, but nice to see her. And we kind of like that. We sat on the porch.
Yep.
Great big porch with overhangs. And we had some tater tots, if I remember. I'm on the low carb diet, so I only had like 30. And
I can tell.
It was a cheat day.
It was a cheat life. And we had a vodka soda, a Tito's soda.
We did.
And they didn't have lime, so they squeezed fresh lime juice in it.
It worked.
Yeah, she did.
It was a
nice adjustment.
Yeah. It was a little potent.
Yeah. Good mix.
But it was nice. I will go back.
And remember what she said when you asked her to give you a little interview or transition? She said, "I don't give it up on the first date."
You have to come back, which we did. She did put the sticker up, which I'm going to post here. I'll post that on Instagram if anybody's interested, but it's just a picture of a sticker. But we have some new ones, and they're different colors. They're really cool.
Yeah, you did a
By the
nice
way,
job
I have
with
to
that.
mail those off to our friend Monique in New Hampshire. I ordered those
Oh,
stickers.
hi, Monique.
Yeah.
It's Lizard King.
You should
I thought
send
you were
one.
already texting with her.
You should send one with Miranda too.
I will get Miranda one for her. I doubt I'll give her a black or a white one because
Gotta
she
be
has a
black,
black,
yeah. Probably a white one.
motorcycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have something else for Miranda, but I
bet
can't
you
tell her what
do.
it is because I got it for you guys for the trip that's coming up.
But it's a little something.
So then we left Dusty's Hideaway and we rode down to top of Tacoma.
We were
Right.
up to the top. You don't ride down to the top.
Yeah, right. We rode over to the top of Tacoma, which is a classic 50s style lounge that's been not remodeled, just cleaned up, and it's been super popular the last 4, 5, 6 years. And
Great nachos.
Always a good stop.
we sat out on the patio, their new patio out there out front. It was nice and busy as usual. We went next door and looked in the windows of Parky's Tavern.
You yearned for that. You perked right up when you saw Parky's.
So should we do a GoFundMe for Parkies?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking that
Because
the
Parky's is closed.
Chasing Ghost crew needs to buy Parky's.
Parkies is
and-
for sale.
Yeah, and let's get her opened and let's clean it. And it's got a Class H liquor license. Let's make it happen.
And we could put a studio right in the back room
Absolutely.
somewhere.
Yep.
Marky.
And it's
at
known to be
Parky.
haunted.
Oh, my God.
It's got everything going for it. Apparently has a little... Anyway, so Parky's. Then from there, we headed down the hill and went where?
Well, we tried to go to Johnny's Dock. Closed.
Looks like it's closed forever.
Went to the Valley Tavern. Closed.
Closed. I think that's a problem.
Went to the Cliff House. They said, let's wait 15 minutes. We said, can't wait.
You're right.
We went to Browns Point Diner. They were
Closed.
just closing.
Yeah.
So we went to Geno's.
Off to Geno's, which
at
I'd never
Dash
been to.
Point. Well, it's fairly new.
Yep.
Used to be the old lobster shop.
Back in the day.
Yeah. And it's on the water there at Dash Point. Now, if you've listened to our podcast, if you remember Tote Goats and UFOs, that particular
Yep,
podcast, where my sister saw a UFO while parked at Dash Point with her boyfriend. Remember, I was asked the question, how could you see?
Looking straight down.
looking straight down.
With your high heels not putting more pressure than an elephant on the earth.
And but that was the place where they saw it lifting from Maury Island there, where you can see from your home up north.
Yep.
And they were nice. We went in there, went in the bar, had a drink,
Nice service. Yeah.
had a little what did we eat? Those little round things, calamari,
Yeah.
and a drink.
Yep.
I like
And
the
we saw
nachos
fish
better.
hawk.
We did.
Up posting.
Top of the.
You're just posting up there.
I'll put that with the other picture.
On top of the American flagpole.
We also stopped under those huge cranes in Tacoma that unload containers. We did a little photo shoot down there.
Yep.
Pretty fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
It was a great day.
We
It
went
was
to a
good to be
couple of
back.
places that we've never been to. It was actually pretty exciting.
Can't wait till phase 3.
When does that start?
Fuck. When we're dead. Right? We're permanently probably in phase 2 over the rest of our lives.
Phase 3, we can do 35 miles an hour.
Well, we got to ask the governor.
Molly likes this phase 2. Nope, can't. 6 feet. And I'm out of range at 6 inches, so she's quite safe. But I'm working the hips.
So it's
Oh, it sounds like the end.
well, this is your cue to start wrapping it up. This is the acoustic version of our theme song. I don't know if you've ever really
From our
listened
house band from
our-
weeknights.
Yeah, from weeknights. So thanks to Miranda of Ghost Biker Explorations and our Paranormal Tennessee Girl. Remember to subscribe on YouTube for her adventures or her website, ghostbikersexplorations.com. Thanks to our listeners, that's you, for listening. Weeknights.
You said you like singular. Is there just one out there?
Oh, no.
Oh no, it's blowing up, dude.
I was actually asked today, how many listeners do we have?
We're not allowed to talk about that.
We're not? Okay.
It's one of the disclaimers.
Yeah.
That fucking disclaimer.
Keith doesn't know. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. This
Here's
is
the
just
thing.
fun.
We are
fan of the lizard.
we are the #1 scooter podcast in the world that features ghosts and bars.
Well, that'll keep us back for episode 42 then. Got to do another one.
Yep, coming to you in early July.
Yeah.
So we're not, wait, there was something on here about our coming ride. Is that next?
Walla Walla, Washington?
Damn it.
What?
You're right, Keith. He's off on the...
I was working our way out. I was doing the nice finish, and you reminded me we missed a whole section of the podcast. We knew we invited you
That's
here.
why
for
we
a
have
reason.
This
Keith.
is good for our listeners. This is organic.
Would you point him back into the mic?
Yeah, look at my.
This is organic. We are not an organization.
Okay, so let's talk about our ride coming up because we just had a meeting the other night.
You're not recording.
Yes, we are.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
And we met at the mill, which is one of our central spots to get started on our rides.
Which is
And-
where we're going in about 20 minutes.
right. And so we nailed it down. We finally nailed it down.
We have a mission,
So we're going directly to Walla Walla. We're going
Washington.
to trailer to Walla Walla,
which is the
a wine
southeast corner of our
Wine
state.
country.
wine country, beautiful little town, railroad town too.
And you know what? Just as a disclaimer, we're not going to one fucking winery the whole time we're over there.
Not one.
Understood?
Please
one.
disregard that fucking disclaimer.
Thank you, Gilbert.
So we're not going to go to a winery. We're going to find dive bars in Walla Walla, Washington.
Yep.
And then from there, we're heading up to college COVID country. That's Pullman, Washington, and Moscow, Idaho.
Washington State and the University of Idaho.
Right. And we're going to go, we're going to be doing some, Keith is
on the
apparently
Palouse.
going to do some research.
Can you still get a fishbowl in Moscow?
I have no idea.
You're going to tell us.
We're gonna look.
We'll find out.
Okay. And then we leave Moscow and we head down to Joseph, Oregon.
Through Lewiston, right down the seam of the border between Washington and Idaho.
Crack of the ass, as they say.
if you will.
Like a bead of sweat.
So I've never been.
Put some on your lips. See how it goes.
I'm in a good mood. My mood's improved. So we end up in Joseph, Oregon, where we have a house on a lake.
A beautiful house.
Named
Better-
after?
It better be anyway.
Chief Joseph.
No.
Oh,
Thomas Joseph.
and who's that?
He was an explorer.
Oh, really? He was
I'm
not-
kidding. I don't know.
Spoken like a true history teacher.
Just like class, just you say a lie and they just eat it up.
You know, I went to a concert at the New McMinimans in Tacoma, and I saw the band Joseph, which is from Joseph, Oregon.
I wasn't invited.
Two sisters, and they do beautiful music. If you haven't listened to Joseph,
That
actually
reminds
very,
me
very good.
of Shirley MacLaine. 2 Mules for Sister Sarah.
You know,
Those were
there's-
great performances.
Near Joseph is Republic, and there's supposed to be fabulous old theater there that does a lot of top end music and
cool.
entertainment.
Could this be our first concert on the
It's going to
road?
be a fun trip.
So we leave Joseph, and it's everything's about 130 miles apart. And then we go over to Pendleton,
Right.
and we're staying
That's rodeo
at the,
country.
We're staying at the Whiskey Inn in Old Town, downtown Pendleton, and I love the remarks because one of the comments was, "Could use a good cleaning."
After we leave.
Bring in the bleach.
Coming in with the black light. So
More Steve.
and then we go to Hermiston, and then we head directly back up to Walla Walla. Another not very far, probably 60 miles. So
Right.
we're going to be hitting some places in between there. We're going to be running a Wednesday through a Sunday night, maybe Monday, and then heading back. So if you
Can't
are a
wait.
listener in that southeast corner of Washington State, the northeast corner of Oregon, and the southwest corner of Idaho,
Midwest of Idaho.
Let's put
It
something
goes
together.
in further south.
right,
Mid.
the western region.
Crack of the ass of Idaho.
Okay. Find us as we're cruising around. We'll be doing updates on Instagram and Facebook, and Twitter picks those up, but we are not strong on the Twitter.
Oh, well.
I don't know what to really say about
Not
that.
our demo.
No. So back again. Thanks to Miranda.
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks to our
Always
listeners.
a pleasure.
Here we go.
And thanks to Weeknights for their music. But keep your head on a swivel. Keep the rubber side down. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
But ride.
Only one drink per hour.
Bye, y'all.
Copyright 2020 by Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bar.
I already copyrighted.
Fucking copyright.
I want to go to bed.
I don't have your mic on.